you are already practicing Jnana Yoga. Every moment you think about why you feel angry, why you feel frustrated, why you feel happy, why you feel depressed, these are questions of Jnana Yoga. You cannot stop thinking. The question is not whether you think. It is whether your thinking is constructive and positive, which is Jnana Yoga, or conspiring, negative, and critical, which is Ajnana Yoga. Most of the time, people live Ajnana Yoga without realizing it. But with awareness, you can transform your daily mental habits into a powerful spiritual practice that doesn't require sitting in a cave or renouncing the world. What is Jnana Yoga, really? It is not just reading scriptures or asking who am I as an intellectual exercise. When you live what you believe, that is Jnana Yoga. When you live what you know, that is Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga is the path of attaining knowledge of the true nature of reality through meditation, self-inquiry, and contemplation. But Jnana Yoga begins not with a book, but with self-perception, knowing where you are in life and what you need to do to improve it. This is something you can practice in your daily life, starting right now. The first practice is cultivating self-awareness. The basic foundation of Jnana Yoga is awareness. Try to have the component of awareness in as many moments of the day as humanly possible. This does not mean you need to be aware every second. Your span of awareness is limited, but you can begin with a few minutes. There is a fine line between awareness and distraction, and you should be able to differentiate between developing focused awareness and allowing it to convert into distraction. This awareness is the first rung of Jnana Yoga. Without it, nothing else works. The second practice is observing your reactions and responses. This is Jnana Yoga in action. When you are observing your reactions and responses, you are practicing Jnana Yoga. Through your intellect, you analyze your reactions. Why do I get angry? Why do I get frustrated? Why do I feel happy? Why do I feel depressed? In ashram life, due to personal likes and dislikes, situations arise that one normally does not face. Rather than running away, you are encouraged to observe yourself, take responsibility for your part in the problem, and improve it, instead of blaming others and expecting the world to change. This is training for harmony and balance in everyone's life. The third practice is applying the Swan Principle. The Swan Principle is a practice of Jnana Yoga. It allows you to recognize yourself. Swan stands for strengths, weaknesses, ambitions, and needs. Through self-observation, identify your strengths and weaknesses. Do you need to convert any weakness into strength, or can you just ignore it? Many times we think, this weakness, I will try to overcome. But is that really necessary? Just because you are attracted to something does not mean it is important in the long run. You have to identify what you are going to be. You cannot be everything. The fourth practice is setting a directional focus for your life. What do you wish to become in 15 or 20 years? This is the practical aim of your life. A student decides to become a doctor after passing certain grades. Then the training begins. The same principle applies to lifestyle. Begin by discovering how your personality functions, what the shortcomings and strengths are, and what qualities and skills you need to cultivate. If you want to search for gold, you have to remove tons and tons of dirt in order to discover one tiny nugget. The Swan Principle helps you analyze and understand this directional focus of life. The fifth practice is changing your attitude. Deciding if the glass is half empty or half full. You have to decide if the glass is half empty or half full. If you say it is half empty, you are aware of the absence of water. This leads to suffering. If you say it is half full, you are aware of the presence of water, even if it is only a quarter full. Awareness of absence leads to suffering. Awareness of presence leads to contentment and acceptance. Attitudinal change must come in your regular interactions of day-to-day life. The sixth practice is practicing total involvement. Karma Yoga has to assist Jnana Yoga. It is the merger of the two that leads to an improvement in lifestyle. As a mother, go on looking after your children and fulfill their demands. As a father, be responsible for your actions and fulfill the demands placed on you. Whatever you do it as if it is the only time you're going to do it. Give it your best shot. Each day is a new day. What you do today is not related to what you did yesterday. This creates immunity from your own expectations, desires, ambitions, losses, and gains. The seventh practice is understanding and preventing misunderstanding. The power of misunderstanding is one of the most potent powers of human life. It can give birth to rage. It can give birth to hatred. It can give birth to terror. It can destroy life. A lifelong friendship can be destroyed by one single misunderstanding. With the combination of Jnana and Karma Yoga, you can avoid such situations by cultivating awareness, self-observation, and self-regulation. The 4 points are: cultivate awareness, self-observation, and self-regulation, attitudinal change, and total involvement. These qualities become part of the lifestyle of a person aspiring to become a yogi. The eighth practice is beginning with the desire to transcend. The first step to Jnana Yoga is mumukshutva, the desire to transcend. This indicates a recognition of your present condition. If the recognition of your present situation is not there, there would be no desire to change or improve. Knowledge is not to be equated with Jnana Yoga. You may know many things, but how much do you live what you know? When you live what you know, that is Jnana Yoga. This is not an intellectual pursuit. It is a transformation of your entire being. The ninth practice is asking the haunting question, but with intensity. One of the most well-known inquiries in Jnana Yoga is, who am I? The method Ramana Maharshi suggested. But you must ask the question with intensity and an overwhelming need to know, not like a parrot. If you ask the question only 5 minutes every morning before breakfast, nothing will happen. Ramana Maharshi's whole being vibrated with the inquiry 24 hours a day, whether awake or asleep. If you have a question that haunts you day and night, that question will be your vehicle in Jnana Yoga. The 10th practice is contemplation, realizing you are not the body. In the deeper stages of Jnana Yoga, you begin to contemplate, who am I? You focus on the Mahavakya, Prajnanam Brahman. This consciousness is Brahman. In the same way that air pervades the entire earth, an element subtler than air is the Brahma Tattva, also all-pervading. That supreme element is what you need to search for. You realize, I am not the body, nor the experiences associated with the body. I am the conscious element, and that conscious element is Pragya. This practice integrates into daily life by reminding yourself that you are not your reactions, not your roles, not your labels. Jnana Yoga is something you cannot live without. You cannot stop thinking. The question is whether you are living Jnana Yoga or Ajnana Yoga. In Ajnana Yoga, if you do not like someone, anger, hatred, or jealousy keep increasing. In Jnana Yoga, if you begin to love that person, animosity decreases day by day. Ask yourself, which yoga do I live? Most of the time, people live Ajnana Yoga, holding on to opinions, choices, likes, and dislikes. Living Jnana Yoga means there is no place for Ajnana Yoga in your life. The process of Jnana Yoga in daily life is sequential. First, still the body. Then, still the mind. Reduce the chatter of thoughts. Third, become the observer, watching your mental processes. Fourth, apply discrimination and non-attachment. Fifth, contemplate the Mahavakyas. Finally, experience non-duality. You do not need to do this all at once. Start with the first step, body stillness. That is accessible to anyone, anywhere, at any time. The stages of meditation leading to Jnana Yoga are practical and immediate. The first stage is physical stability. Many people think this simply means sitting still, but it is actually the stillness of the senses that must be attained. The senses continuously move towards their gratification. That craving and need has to stop. The second stage is stilling the mind. Chatter of thoughts has to be refused and diminished. Today, you might be disturbed by 100 thoughts. Tomorrow, only 10. That is progress. The third stage is becoming the observer. Without becoming the observer, you cannot walk further. Being the observer means if there is joy, you are observing the joy. If there is pain, you are observing the pain. You watch which of your mental experiences is binding you and which is freeing you. The observer brings both discrimination and non-attachment. This is the third stage of meditation, and it is fully applicable in daily life. The fourth stage is where Jnana Yoga truly begins. The body is still, the senses are still, the mind is still. You have become the observer. Now you consciously alter your mental behavior. You apply your power of discernment to sift the appropriate from the inappropriate. Then apply non-attachment to detach from the negative and move toward the positive. In this way, tamas and rajas reduce and sattva enhances. This is practical self-regulation that you can practice in every moment. In the fifth stage, you perceive the whole world as a manifestation of the Supreme Spirit. You no longer see yourself as separate from God. There is a transition from duality to non-duality. When you say this is true and that is also true, all differences come to an end. You realize Sarvam Khalvidam Brahman, all is Brahman. In daily life, this translates to acceptance, non-judgment, and seeing the divine in all beings. When there is acceptance, differences cease to be. The Bhagavad Gita says that of all yogis, the Jnana Yogi is the dearest to God. This is because the Jnana Yogi understands reality as it is. The Jnana Yogi, who sees the Supreme in all beings, and all beings in the Supreme, is never separated from him. This is not a lofty philosophical ideal. It is a practical way of seeing the world. It means treating every person you meet with reverence, seeing every challenge as an opportunity for growth, and recognizing that all of life is interconnected. Jnana Yoga is not a practice you do for 20 minutes in the morning. It is a way of living. It is observing yourself throughout the day. It is identifying your strengths, weaknesses, ambitions, and needs. It is changing your attitude from seeing absence to seeing presence. It is total involvement in whatever you do. It is asking yourself the question that haunts your being. It is slowly, over time, realizing that you are not the body, not the mind, not the roles you play. As you live these principles, misunderstandings decrease, relationships improve, suffering diminishes, and you begin to experience a peace that is not dependent on circumstances. If this video opened a door in your mind, hit that like button. Drop a comment below. Which of these 10 practices will you start with today? Subscribe and turn on notifications. More practical wisdom is coming. I'll see you in the next one.